still my mwalimu. So Mr. Gatuku is a husband and a father of two. He has done the Franciscan spirituality at Bonaventure University in the United States. He is a very committed Franciscan since I have known him now 5 years or so. He is a lecturer in Tagaza University College, Consolata School of Philosophy, and Kwaya or Catholic University of Eastern Africa. And as today, we are going through our topic on embracing the leper. So we are happy to hear much from you, Mr. Gatuku, and we welcome you to take us through this hour as we deepen our Franciscan spirituality. So we are happy to have you to share with us what you have. I know the Franciscans flows out of you it just flows. So we are happy to have you today and to hear from you as you share with us. So welcome, Mr. Gatuku. I'm honored to welcome you, my teacher, my mentor. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. Thank you so much, Sister Ruth. I'm proud to have been introduced by you. And thank you very much, my fellow Franciscan brothers and sisters who have joined us. I was unaware that the password brought some problems, because for me, I just joined with what Sister Mary Francis sent for me earlier this week. And I hope we can send the new one to as many people as possible. John Vianney, probably you can help us do that so that many people can join us. So welcome to our today's topic, and for sure, looking at our lives in one way or the other, I felt that we are in a situation whereby we want to deepen our Franciscan spirituality more. The reason why I chose this topic at this particular time, when everybody else wants to relate what we are going through with the topic, everybody wants to relate what during this period of Corona and everything, everybody wants to relate it whatever with Corona. I thought that Corona just came and left us. It will leave us, actually. And one thing that will really not leave us is our own personalities. And our personality is our call, our Franciscanism. And so I thought that it is important we share about this so that we can see how are we as Franciscans, how are we able to embrace lepers, and who are the lepers of our time, and what does it mean to kiss a leper for me and for you? How many times have we ignored kissing lepers? How many times have we gone back to our old self, whereby the lepers have to be put something in their neck, something that will ring like a bell, so that we can be forewarned about them, so that we can be told, look here, they are coming. And so I really thought of this. St. Francis encountered leper. What is this? To him, it was calling him to this identity that we are calling minorite identity, to identify himself with a minor. The word that is used by Franciscan, minores. And so this 1 hour or less we are going to see what it meant for Francis to embrace lepers. And then afterwards, we see Francis lived his time. And that is why we are celebrating him as a saint, as you can see. What about me and you? How are we called? How are we supposed to embrace the leper? You know, I like this picture because you can see the face of the leper. You can see the joy that the leper is feeling. Someone who has been disguised by people for a long time, but at this particular time, he has been able to get someone who would embrace him, who would bring his head near his, who would want him to cross over his heart. There is no way that this could have happened. And so I want to begin by reading a small text in the Testament. You know, Testament is a very important document that we follow in our Franciscanism. It is the final document that Francis wrote to us on his way to meet Sister Death. Part of the Testament says this: the Lord gave to me, Brother Francis, thus to begin to do penance. For when I was in sin, it seemed to me very bitter to see lepers. And the Lord himself led me amongst them, and I showered mercy to them. It is him who is saying this. And when I left them, that which had seemed to be bitter was changed for me into sweetness of body and soul. Note the words of body and soul. And afterwards, I remained a little and I left the world. And the Lord gave me so much faith in churches that I would simply pray and say thus: we adore you, Lord Jesus Christ, here in all the churches which are in the whole world. And we bless you because by the Holy Cross you have redeemed the world. So, in the text of Testament, which is a very important text, Francis furnishes us with the idea of how he felt after meeting the lepers. Between the year 1209 and 1210, that is when the Propositum Vitae was approved. The Propositum Vitae is the rule, the initial rule that was proposed. That means what was proposed, the rule that was proposed. And that is when it was orally, verbally approved by the Pope. And under the pressure of the trials of daily life, the general principles of the core began to be expanded, to be deepened, and became more specific. So immediately Francis and his brothers went with their Propositum Vitae, and they told the Lord Pope, look here, this is proposed. This is our life. And you know what was their proposal? To live the gospel literally. We want to live the gospel ad literam. And this is now when we are saying that things that had began expanding. And they also became more specific. This took the shape of additions, imprecation, caveats, that's warning. It is the content of this addition that represent what is characteristic and unique to the Franciscan charism. So Franciscan charism grew from this. You know what the Pope told them? Go, brothers, go. Go do the work of God. Go preach. And you, if you have more brothers, come to me. I'm going to add you some more job. This is the beginning of Franciscan charism. What is this charism? I have summarized the charism in 3. 1, living positively in the face of rejection. 2, living positively in the face of trials. 3, living positively in times of hardships. These are some things that are very difficult for us. Not many people who are able to deal and face rejection. Not many people who are able to deal and face trials. Not many people who are able to live and face hardships. But this is our core value. This is our characteristic. And this is what Francis called minoritas, being a minor. Being a minor because if you are rejected, it doesn't matter. When you are in trials, it doesn't matter. When you are in hardship, it doesn't matter. I think you have read a text that Francis was writing, and he talked about true and perfect joy. True and perfect joy does not come in a banquet. True and perfect joy does not come when you have been embraced and be given all the joys. True and perfect joy come amidst rejection, amidst trials, amidst hardship. Now, the encounter with the leper. Why is it so seminal? Why is it so important in establishing the minorite vision, minorite identity, and in establishing our charism? I would say the moment Francis met the leper, it became the experience of grace par excellence. This was the time he received the totality. You know, the philosophical term grace par excellence can also be attributed to mean grace per se, the fullness of grace. But wait a minute. Lepers were rejected. Lepers were not people to enjoy. Lepers actually were supposed to pass so far from others. It was a moment, number one, it was a moment when God revealed to Francis himself. He revealed himself to Francis. How did he do that? He revealed himself in unshakable and in most personal way. You know, for us, we think God revealed himself to us when we see his vision, when we see him doing good things in our lives. But for Francis, the moment he revealed himself to him was the moment he met the leper. Hence, for the number two, Francis started viewing all existence, all creation, as marked with the presence of Christ. So from that moment, he noted that kumbe, every experience, every existence, every creature is definitively marked with the presence of Christ. I don't know, for those of us who are near slums, I don't know how many times you ever tried to go through slums. Sometimes we always try to avoid it. Why? Of course, there are some people who can mug you. Of course, if you are carrying a bag or your purse in a slum, you would hold it so tight to you because you imagine someone from slum would just come and take it away. It was grace that affected a radical and total reversal, conversion. This grace made Francis change. What was bitter turned to sweetness. I want to be a little bit fast because we have limited time. So what happened to Francis in this encounter? We cannot say that Francis, in encountering the leper, actually entirely he encountered the face of Christ. Now we start seeing the leper and the face of Christ as parallel or interchangeably. No, because when we see that a leper would be a mere vehicle through which Francis came to know Christ. But wait a minute, it's not a leper that made Francis to know Christ. Francis knew Christ before knowing lepers. But what Francis did not know was the goodness that are with lepers. It would be erroneous because we are not going to appreciate the full significance of this experience. And that is why I've written there in bold that Francis, in this encounter, found himself for the first time, perhaps, in his life, before a truly suffering humanity, or better to say, truly suffering human beings. So actually the rapper was not just a vehicle. The rapper was not just something that made Francis to know Christ. No, the rapper was a real reality that Francis was able to meet, perhaps for the first time, a true suffering humanity. Maybe I would ask a question from there, and I don't want to answer you to answer me. I want you to answer yourself. How many times have you found yourself in front or before a truly suffering humanity? What has been your reaction? Suddenly, the eyes of Francis were opened. He became aware that there is another outside there. You know, Assisi had made him to believe so many things. Assisi had their own social structure. Just like those of us who are in Langata, just like those of us who are in Westlands, just like those of us who are in big areas, we are already taught that it is not good for us to go to Kibera. It is not good for us to go to Madare. It is not good for us to go to Kiabio, all these slums. Why? Because the structures we have in our society has placed us where we are, and we forget that there is somewhere we are supposed to go. And so his eyes were opened. Ruth was looking for her eyes in the beginning. Francis' eyes were opened, and he was aware that outside the structure of Assisi, there is another whole world of men and women, human beings like him. And these are the people that Assisi had taught him to run away from. Assisi had taught him to disdain. Assisi had put nothing but brightness. He could not see them because Assisi had already taught him how to divide. Now, because I want to go mixing with our contemporary world, I want you to see how many of us are blind. How many of us have been taught by where we live that we are not supposed to see there before? And we are calling ourselves Franciscans of 2020, Franciscans of 21st century. This is a Franciscan of 12th century, and his brightness started coming out. These were the same values he had been taught and absorbed during his socialization in Assisi, in which he had been so proud of. So again, I bring a picture. Look at that picture. Imagine about the people who really need us. You see, this period of Corona, we have been listening to the TV, we have been listening to the news or overreading that the families who had anybody affected or infected, people ran away literally from them. You know, the other time I was telling you the government is also teaching us a very bad word, social distance. We are not supposed to social distance. We are supposed to physical distance. Social distance, we are supposed to minimize it as much as we can. What we are doing now, we are not keeping social distance. Right now, what we are doing, we are removing the social distance by having a sharing even when we are in our own homes. Even if we cannot go to Ponsikura for our usual meetings, for our usual retreats and recollection, we are still distancing. We are still crossing the distance by coming together. Look at this man. I want you to look at the peace that face is feeling because of someone. I mean, literally, this is not Francis. Literally, this picture was not taken of a Francis. It's an imaginary picture, yes. But this is exactly the scenario that Francis found himself in. I have heard Sister Mary Frances and others talking about remembering others who are in trouble, remembering to visit others, not only just talking, trying to do justice to others. Francis was able to do justice to the poor. And you know, the leper is not only a leper. The leper represents the whole community, the whole society of rejected people, the whole community, the whole society of disdained people, the whole community of people who really are not needed, the people who are not loved. I move quite along. So in your mind, I want you to continue thinking about that picture. And you know, who are you among the two? Are you among this man in habit who probably would refer to Francis? Or are you among these people who have found a lot of peace because of seeing somewhere to live? How many people have you rejected? Such people. And you call yourself, I call myself a Franciscan. Francis began to recognize that God, in taking flesh in Jesus Christ, has shared our human condition. Even this man here, whose flesh was decaying. You know what is leprosy? Fresh decay. You know, fingers start peeling off. But even when these things are happening, Jesus Christ, God himself has shared his humanity with such people. Even the decaying flesh of a leper could serve as a tabernacle of the presence of Christ. And you know, on Sunday, we all go humbly kneeling in front of tabernacle. Some people kneel and they even take their face down. When you found someone smelling and you passed on the other side doing like this, start thinking about the Good Samaritan and how everybody passed that man saying, why? I am a Levite, I cannot touch. I come from the kinship of Levites, those who preach. Another preacher, only someone who did not know God, a Samaritan, someone who did not have an idea of who is God. Through this encounter with lepers, Francis discovered what we call the cardinal insight of life. And I want you to note this cardinal insight. They are very, very important. And I'm going to read these slowly, four of them, even if I don't do anything else. And I put this in our own brains, in our own minds, in our own. This cardinal insight that we are taught by Francis, then I would say I have done my work today. That all human beings, without exemption, are creatures of the same God, including the mad people in the street, including the poor people in Kibera, including those whose flesh is peeling off because of leprosy, including those who have coronavirus, including the thieves. They are all, without exception, creatures of the same God. So me and you, plus all those people who are suffering, we are all creatures of the same God. Number two, that all, without exemption, are endowed with the same human dignity and same estimable value. This is where we go astray, because we don't discover that everybody has dignity. Everybody is endowed with dignity. And this dignity that is there is what makes him a son of God or a daughter of God. That all, without exception, are offered the same grace of salvation. Hakuna mtu ataokoka kuliko mwingine. If there is salvation to be gotten, it is for all of us. It does not matter where you come from. It does not matter the color of your skin. It does not matter the size of your pocket. It does not matter how your bank is full of dollars or shillings. It does not matter the position you hold in your congregation, whether you are a superior general or you have never even stepped the house called generate, even to go and visit. All those, I'm telling you, they teach us that we all have the same grace of salvation. So the people we disdain, the people we just hate, the people we think we should not be close to them, we are all going to be surprised, because salvation ni ile too, it is the same. And lastly, and the most important, that all without exemption are fratres et sorores, are brothers and sisters. You know, this time we are talking of fratelli tutti. We are all brothers. Now, me and add sorores. We are all brothers and sisters. Even the person who you look with very bad eyes once you meet him or her, even the person whom you think is the biggest sinner in the world, you are brother and sister to one another. And you know what is this? Francis, by discovering this, he was introducing us to what we call universal fraternity. That he discovered the insight of universality of all creatures. We share the same brotherhood. We share the same fraternity. So in a nutshell, because I'm still looking at my watch and see what time is, I now go through this. No. Okay. This insight of fraternity of all creatures. What is it to us? You know, the insight of universal fraternity of all creatures, according to Francis, is the natural condition of human beings that was intended by God. So anytime you send away your brother, anytime you send away your sister, what you are doing, you are killing the intention of God. Everything that ruptures this bond of humanity or human fraternity is what Francis calls sin. Now, start thinking, how many times have I been in sin? How many times have you been in sin? That's why I've put that word sin there. Because people think doing sin is only stealing. You know, people have a lot of idea of what sin is. Francis is simply saying, anything that ruptures the bond of human fraternity, of human brotherhood, is sinful. And that is why down there, the period before the encountering the script, the rapper, he was in sin. The period after the encounter, he discovered the dignity of everybody. And that is when he started doing penance, pacere penitentium, and he started having mercy. So this today, our own invitation as Franciscan is to start pacere penitentium, is to start doing penance, is start offering mercy. And you know, you don't even have to go to Maria Francis, to Maria Francis in particular to take your money there for her to go and see the people. You start having mercy on the people who are near you. Christ explained to us in the gospel, who is my neighbor? My neighbor is he who needs my assistance. So you don't have to go very far looking for someone who needs your assistance. So all that impeded him from recognizing rappers, he considered as sin. All that he did to contribute to their misery, to their suffering. Because, you know, we contribute to the misery and suffering of our brothers through our action or inaction. Kutenda na kutotenda. Through attitude and through our personal and systematically behavior. So these three things are the ones that contribute to bringing misery to other people. Now, it is unfortunate if we are going to be standing in front of people and telling them how proud we are to be Franciscans, but we are doing all these three things you can see above there. So to understand again what he means by sin, we need to understand what it means by doing penance. Yes. We need to start doing penance. What is pacere penitentium? What is doing penance? It is to distance ourselves from what ruptures the bond of human fraternity. What is making the human fraternity to rupture is now what constitutes doing penance. You know, my brothers and sisters, let us not only say we are Franciscan. Let us not only tell people we are Franciscan. Let our Franciscanism being seen in totality. Let our Franciscanism being seen to all. You know, do this that you distance yourself from anything that ruptures the bond of human fraternity. In other words, doing penance is reversing the damage that has been done to humanity. We are in a very bad time. Apart from Corona, there are so many things that are happening. For us Kenyans, we know how we are politically. We are in a very bad scenario, and our political situation is taking a very bad shape. We don't know what to bring, who to trust anymore. See, our own clergymen, our own religious people are already taking side. You know, they are already taking side. So what are we doing? We are already dividing. We are already rupturing this human fraternity bond. You see, instead of us saying no, we want to be part of the division. This is the message that friars carried out through the world in preaching peace. Our invitation is to preach peace. So Francis and friars became conscious of their own sin. I have given an example of that. I'm not going to go through this because I am saying Francis knew, you know, Francis, he was a son of a cloth merchant, so he knew the tricks, he knew how to use the money, he knew things like carrying roads. So he was not coming from heaven. He was in a way understanding all these scenarios, the dynamics that were happening in the society. And again, you know, Francis, for those who understand Franciscan history, Francis in the beginning, he was a minor. He was from minor because merchants were not recognized by the mayor. So he was there. And so he knew the disdain of the lower class. He knew the thirst for gain and profit. He had desired to see Assisi and his own people grow. That is why he went to fight at Perugia. He had ambition to become a knight because he knew once your social rank climb, once ownership of property is there, once you have arms, you are okay. So Francis was aware of all these things. However, even being aware of these things, the call to humanity made him become a different person. So Francis recognized these values, not as things to glory in or to take pride in. We are not supposed to glorify or to take pride in things of this world. Okay? Because these things are obstacle to grace. They are obstacle to Christian life. So riches, having money, having arms, having everything, it is not virtues. They are vices. So if you read the other rule, it tells us the things that we are supposed to be warned against. You know, social power. You know, some of us, we are Franciscans, we are Christians, but you know, every time we want to rush, we want to climb to what we are calling social power, because we want to have as many goods as possible. We want to have as many ranks. You know the police who have rank here, their medals. You know, we want to be as educated as possible. We want to possess land. We want to possess money. We want to have physical power. We want to do karate, such that when everybody meets you, you have no worry. So these are three different ways that the powerful of the world persuade their own interest at the expense of the powerless. How many times have I and you pursued our own interest and we forget the powerless? We forget these people who cannot persuade or who cannot pursue the wealth and everything. When are we going to pursue the interest of the people who are powerless? They have continue having. They have not continue losing. And we say there is what we call universal fraternity, that all are fratres et sorores. You know, how many times have we dominated and exploited the powerless in our own way? Exploitation. We all come of exploiting the people. And you know, we as Franciscan, we are called to be the examples of those people. We are called to be examples. I'm finishing now. So through the experience of his encounter with the lepers, Francis found himself personally implicated, either directly by his own sinful action or indirectly by what bribed him, ignorance. So we need also to be implicated by this. Our own sinful actions as Franciscans of today. How many times have we forgotten the others? Or how many times have we been turned to be bribed by what we have been seeing? In these activities and attitudes that we are exploiting and reducing to invisibility the poor and disadvantaged of society. So Francis realized that the activities that were going on in Assisi were really tantamount to exploitation. We are really reducing the invisibility. So there is no way the poor could be seen. And you know, himself, when he was called by God, when he was going to fight at Perugia, and he realized the voice, and he was asked, who are you going to serve, Francis? Are you going to serve the master or are you going to serve the servant? He was completely confused. But when he said, I want to serve the master, he was told, then go back to Assisi. There you left the masters. How many times have we left the master being invisible and we go to serve the servants? So the whole system of values reigning in Assisi, a world of values he had once been so proud to be part of and fight against, he started now saying no. Me and you are invited also to say no. Therefore, every creature, including the poor, including everything, including the animals, that is why he could call animals brothers and sisters. Every creature has been given the same right and good of the earth. This earth is all ours and we have to share. Because all of us are created of the same God and we are fratres et sorores. All of us are brothers and sisters. So Francis and his brothers now will take their place at the side of the fratres et sorores, on the side of brothers and sisters, these minorites, by distancing themselves from all the forms of power, all the violence, all the dominance. So how are we going to dominate the world now, we as Franciscans? In which way are we going to dominate the world? So until such time as the condition of human life transforms themselves into the kingdom of God, which is a gospel of vision of Jesus, which came to full expression here on earth. So lastly, this is my last slide. We need now to meet these people, and as we meet them, we need to embrace them. We need to give embrace to the poor, to embrace the people who are disdained, the people who are left aside by the society, because we have got someone to follow. And that someone to follow is our own Francis. Thank you very much. God bless you. That is the end of my presentation for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mwalim, Mr. Gatuku, for taking us through this. I know each one of us has been challenged in our own ways. How have we been ignoring that Christ in our own environments? How have we been not able to embrace those lepers that we live with, where we call ourselves Franciscans, Christians? And so this challenge, I believe, is going to take us another step that we are going to try in our own ways to go to those lepers, not only outside our gates, but even to those that we live with in the families, the children, the wife, for us who are religious, our members of the community. And so I take this chance to say a big thank you to Mr. GATUKU. Thank you so much, Mwalim. And I believe that all of us can say something. It has been, you have challenged us a lot. And maybe at this time with COVID, not allow to enter into social distancing. Let's have physical distance, yes, but how do we keep the social distance? Because we might be not talking to other people claiming that we are keeping the distance. But this is not the call for us. We are called to physical distance, but our social life should be more stronger at this time. Is it an excuse for us to ignore others in our environment, in our own communities? To those who come to knock at our door, we want to ignore them with the word that we are keeping social distance. Thank you so much, Mr. GATUKU, for that challenge. And this floor is now welcome to those. I see the chats are coming with a lot of gratitude. And I know there are people who might want to say something. So this is the time for anyone who is willing to say something before we move to the next one. But continue saying what has been enriching for you, what has challenged you, what has been a blessing to you through this talk in the chat, where the rest give those who can speak. So the room is free for anyone who to say something. So karibuni.
Thank you, sister. May I say something?
Veronica.
Thank you, sister, and thank you very much, my brother GATUKU, Mwalim, for that very good presentation.
Welcome.
My observation, you've put it very well, that all of us have the same rights. Those who are considered as the marginalized, and those who are not marginalized, all of us have the same right. I think the challenge is for us Franciscans to empower the ordinary mwananchi, so that they can start demanding good services from their government, for example. Because the ordinary mwananchi is paying the taxes, the ordinary mwananchi is the one suffering, but the same ordinary mwananchi is the same one who is going for tokens. You know, our people are happy to go for tokens instead of demanding for services. And so I think that is something that as Franciscans we can start doing. The other issue is what you have talked about, that the leadership seems to have taken sides. I totally concur with you, because even sometimes when this government invites our leaders for these national prayer meetings, personally I tend to think it's a way of diverting attention. I think there is a way, they want kind of to put a blanket so that people don't talk, so that people don't see the reality, so that people don't ask for what is right. And I'm thinking it is now time that the Justice and Peace program Very happy, Sister Mary Wangari. You're very active in that and others. But I think now it's a very high time that we do something and ask for people to come up and challenge the system. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Veronica. And I still insist that at this time, especially that the politics is taking a lot of bad shape in our country. Let our religious leaders, leader advisors very wisely, because if they take sides, they divide the flock. And if the flock is divided, then we are finished. Thank you, Veronica.
Thank you
Okay.
so much, Veronica, for that intervention. Sister Mary?
Yes, I am grateful for the comments, and I'm grateful to GATUKU for his deeply shared spirituality on Franciscan and kissing of the reaper. Well, I will still draw this challenge to all of us. The challenge that our leaders, our church leaders who are leading us are taking sides. But what are we doing ourselves as Franciscan? For me, I like challenging each to challenge ourselves as Franciscans. Gatuku has put it very well. He has challenged us on how we should see who is that leper in my own community. My own community, I might have a leper. A leper is not only that little leper that Francis kissed. Who is that sister? Who is that brother in my community who cannot speak on our own rights? Do I speak on her behalf? And will I be able to be hated to fight for her? That is one challenge, and that has come from also with the talk today. When we are called, I don't only organize charities, and Katuko has put it very well. Our office is supposed to be an office to speak on behalf of others. But you cannot speak alone. You must speak with your fellow Franciscans. How many times that I've called upon people, they don't come? How many times? It's only that I don't give up because I'm not yet there to give up. But it's like you are left alone. You are trying to organize the Franciscans to be together, but some will pray it down. My dear brothers and sisters, let us bless the reaper. Let us bless the reaper. Even as we speak, we have a visiting to Mukuru. The visit charity is part of us and is speaking louder to the people on behalf of the people's right. It's in front of us. It should be for the Franciscans. Let us take that mantle and challenge ourselves and become the people who will bless the reaper of today. When we become brothers and sisters, when we become Franciscans, even Katuko is a Franciscan, but he has a wife and he has children. Sometimes we are forced to be at our own, to be selfish, because I must take care of my family, so we don't think about those others. This time, I want leader to challenge you once again. I want those who would wish to write a statement without me being there, to come in the office and let us draft that statement that we want to say that the way the country is going, but remember, when you write it, you must be very courteous. But we have to say it, that this is happening, our government is going on the long directions, and we really need to advise them. Our church leaders are going at the wrong direction probably, and we need to go and sit with them and ask them, what is the direction the church is taking to protect the rights of individuals? Don't forget that the pain of 2007 is still alive. Don't forget that what Father Kaiser was killed for is still alive. We have those still people in Maera camp. We have children who have been born in that Maera camp. They have never known a home. The tent is their home. Where are you as Franciscans? Mary Francis keep on making noise. and maybe you are getting used of a noise. Can you wake up beyond my noise, and so that we are able to move together as Franciscans and be able to change people? As we speak, I only have that 3,000. That 1,000 is from FMM, and the 3,000 is from individuals who have sent that money. Where are we as Franciscans? Where are we as communities? Yet we want to give a smiling face to the people. So we are still waiting for your contribution. And me, I will not keep quiet. I will still make noise. I will still remind you. I am there to remind you. So thank you, Mr. Gatuku. Thank you for your good presentation. Thank you for challenging us. But we must take this challenge behold the Zoom meeting and go and visit and embrace the LIPPER from your own community, from my own community, from my own family, to your own family. Thank you so much, Sister Ruth, for facilitating this.
Thank you, Mary Frances. Make a louder noise. Don't shy off from making noise. Make it until you have no more voice.
If I have no voice, I'll die.
We hope to join in your voice, Sister Mary Frances. So don't feel so much left out. So anyone else who has something before I invite Father Herman? Any questions that you would want to ask to Mr. Gatuku? You can put it in the chat. We'll look at it and it will be answered. The floor is yours.
Hello.
Yes, Karibu.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so thank you, Brother Katuko, for your presentation. But for today, I'm so sorry, but I don't concentrating for all the time, but because I'm in the kitchen. So I say thank you for all, but after all of that, but I say thank you and I say all of you, good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your name, please.
Good morning, too.
My name is Arnold from Tanzania, Dar es Salaam.
Okay.
Karibu sana.
Thank you. All the way from Dar es Salaam. We thank you. Kindly cook very good meal for people today.
Okay, thank you very much. And you, karibu sana. Karibu Tanzania.
Asante sana, tutatembea.
Asante.
Okay, Gatuku, sister.
Yes.
Someone is asking me for the number. If you have my number, it's 0722 401 795. That is why we are sending the M-Pesa through for Mukuru. And by Wednesday, we will communicate to all of you so that you come. We see how we are going to go to Mukuru on Saturday. But we will still have a Zoom. And how I wish Katuko could continue with this challenge. Can you?
Yes, I could.
Yes, because we want to prepare.
You are muted, Mary Frances. Unmute yourself.
I'm saying.
Yes.
I will get back to you maybe by Monday morning.
Okay, sister.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gatuko, for your disponibility. It is a challenge for us who say we are responsible. And even you are willing to continue until next week. Thank you so much for that disponibility. And now,
Sister,
yes.
I want to apologize. We apologize for the mix of the password. But once you have the Zoom on your laptop, it's easier to go through without the password. But we will make sure that we take care of that. And I've seen Father Herman all allowed, so I hope, sister, you'll give him a chance to greet us.
Sure, sure. I am waiting for if somebody else is saying something before I call Father Herman to say something. So as people are continuing to chat, with that, I would want to welcome Mr. Gatuko to sum up. And then after that, I invite Father Herman to say something, and then we will give us the final blessings.
Okay.
Mr. Gatuko, once again, welcome.
Thank you so much, and thank you for very wonderful points that I've seen in the chat. I was going through all the chat because when I was presenting, I could not read. But right now, I've gone through. Bernadette is very quiet. She's not speaking, but she has written a lot. And she was saying that I think it is time for us now to introspect, to go beyond what we know, and we go deep within ourselves, and we know our path. I think I'm going to conclude with what Sister Mary Frances has said, that once you know what to do, then you do your part. If you don't do your part, then if you keep on saying, I'm a Franciscan, you are like those who are calling Lord, 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 using our lips. But you remember what Jesus said? Woe unto those who call me Jesus, 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 using their lips. Yes, their heart are far away from me. Continuing saying we are Franciscan, yet our actions are not those one of Franciscanism. I think that is just like taking our heart so far from Christ. Let us bring our hearts very close to Christ, and then let us heed to the call of assisting. I think there's one saint who said, I will assist until the last drop. Let us do that, and I think God will take care of us. So thank you very much. I'm proud to be a Franciscan. My family is very happy to have a Franciscan dad and husband. They were here listening at me also and joining me in the presentation, and I'm proud to be here. So thank you so much. God bless you.
So thank you so much, Mr. Gatuko. As we have seen, and many have been saying that we can never get enough of these challenges. We need always to be challenged because challenge is what wakes us up to remember that we are Franciscan. Sometimes we seem to forget, but being reminded, we can never forget. So thank you so much for reminding us that this is our call. And thank you so much, Sister Mary Frances. As Mr. Gatuko has encouraged you, don't be disappointed, don't keep quiet, continue shouting. Be assured that we will join in your shouting. And now I invite Father Herman. Father Herman says something. I can see Gatuko-san is looking at us and waving at us. And so now this time is for Father Herman. Father Herman, are you there?
Totally. I'm listening throughout. James, thank you so much for your elaboration there. I am surprised that such a simple gesture 800 years ago is still so valid and so vital and so dynamic, inspirational for us and for the world, that this is really stimulating not only us Franciscan, others. We think about people in the hospital, in our institutions, in small homes, in homes for disabled, physically, mentally handicapped, which kind of attention and empathy they receive. Thank you that this is really became such a worldwide information, worldwide value, spread value, that we are really can be proud of, that we are the owners of this heritage. To anybody who is in need or is outcast and is valuable, to be embraced, to be kissed, to be accepted. what this can mean for a person, our migrants who cross from countries and the oceans and on ships and on all the disasters and the dangers. So how much emphasis do they need to reach any place of safety, any new place of survival? So Francis gives us right inputs for our times in all the even modern directions. So many social, charitable things are done and never enough, but with the right mentality. Here it is me and you. It is me and the other. It is me and my neighbor. It is me and my partner. It is me and my friend. So that is just a few words which I would like to agree, where we come in even for this message to the globe in the direction of Laudato Si and now Fratelli Tutti. Let us all live, act as brothers and sisters. Which kind of deep biblical, Christian and Franciscan message is now spread from highest authority. I feel proud about what is in me and in everybody here present there, and what is now reaching out, even Africa now. Ruth, thank you so much. You do so well. Great for this accompaniment and the MC. You are there. The discovery of talents. It is a chance for us to represent ourselves in the best manners, with the best talents to the world, and to serve one another in the best manners. Let us become available for one another, as Francis was available for each brother and for each leper. The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
May the Almighty God bless us, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
If we have someone right and left, let us share the arms and hands. Let us depart in the peace of our Lord. Not the feast, but I think open hands, open fingers gives us the right mentality towards one another. We are in total awareness of social distance. Here we are, my greetings, my emphasis, my strategies, my love and my heart to each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Nice weekend.
Thank you.
Remember to hug the other person next to you, because tomorrow you might be the leper.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I have someone to take care of me myself.
Yes, we become lepers in different times. So let us embrace each other.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Vianney. Thank you, Bernadette, and all. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice weekend.